I bought the most expensive tiny house in the California desert.
This is not the new house. What this is a 5 acre piece of property that I've had for some time now. Obviously, I purchased it because of those views. That's one of my favorite things about this property, the peacefulness, the quiet. I love it. And this is what made me fall in love with the high desert rural living. This right here, there's nothing like this. My goal was to build my dream house on this piece of land. But that was back right before COVID hit. And during that time, of course, lumber prices were through the roof. Well prices actually went through the roof. So it just became really unfeasible to actually build a home the way that I thought I was going to when I made this purchase. And I'm going to be transparent with you, for a property in this area, the well itself right now is going to be around $30,000 to $35,000. And so with the idea of spending that much money, I decided I'm going to camp out on this property full time. And that's what I did. And that was what allowed me to save up to hopefully get that well. But as the time approached, I decided, do I want to get a well for this property, or do I want to buy something else, have that working for me as a short-term rental, and then later on invest in this place? Some might say that I'm making a bad decision. Some might say that I'm making a good decision. All I know is the opportunity came up to make the purchase that I did, and that's what I decided to do. So in the future, yes, I want to pick up and build the dream that I have for this property, and hopefully you'll get to see that. But in the meantime, let's go over the numbers. I'm going to take you and go over a little bit of the strategy that I use to buy this property that the channel is based around, and kind of getting to a little bit more of the why, so that you can decide for yourself, did I make a huge mistake, or did I do something good? So let's go inside, let's get to it. So I gave you a little bit of the backstory. Now I'm going to key you in on to my strategy. What strategy am I using on this house that I just purchased, and how does that all work with the property that I already owned? So with the tiny house that I just purchased, the way that all came together was through the first time home buyer program. Now, granted, I told you that I've owned homes in the past, so this is not my first time buying a home, but that's not what the first time home buyer program is. So you can still use the first time home buyer program if it's been at least 3 years or more since you've owned your last home. And it has been 3 years since I sold my last home, so I was able to buy this new tiny house under that program. So everything worked out perfectly in that aspect. And the reason I wanted to do that was just weighing the numbers. Like I said, $30,000 to $35,000 for a well on this property. You're looking at 20,000 or so in permits, 20,000 or so in septic system, and that's just getting the ball rolling when it comes to building your own house on vacant land, especially here. Now, I know there's loans and there's different types of things that you can get into that'll help ease the process, but you do want to have some cash on hand, and you do want to be prepared for things to go over budget. And the more that you have available, the better off you are, because things often do go over budget. So I wanted to be prepared and at least have some money put aside for anything that might arise during the process. With that said, I came across the tiny house. The first time home buyer program allows you to put down a 3% down payment. If I were going with an investment property, I would have to put 20% down. And that would be a much more significant down payment on the purchase price, on pretty much any purchase price. these days. That's a big significant number. So if I put down 3%, the rules say that I have to wait at least a year or so, actually live in the house, because you don't want to get something and not actually live in it if you're claiming it as a first time home buyer. You don't want to break the law, because that is mortgage fraud. That is something that they can come after you for. So you want to be careful and not commit any fraud or break any laws. But what I want to do is take advantage of that 3% down payment, because if you think the difference between 3 and 20%, over a year of spending that mortgage money, I'm not going to be at that same down payment that I would if I started out at 20%. So you kind of get where I'm coming from. And not only that, I won't be at what it would take for me to buy a well for this property. That's kind of why I made the decision that I made. So going in at 3%, even though I have to wait a year, but look at it as if I paid 30 to 35,000 cash for a well here, and I saved up a little bit more money to go and start the rest of the process, it would maybe take me another year or so. So I would still be waiting the same amount of time, but at least in this case, I have a house to show for it. I have somewhere to stay. I have full utilities that I could take advantage of. I have other land that I can use that comes with the house. And after that year, I could jump right into short-term rentals. Not only that, I could spend this year customizing and tailoring everything to what I think the perfect short-term rental should be in that area. Also, I can actually learn the area to be able to provide information to any guests. I could do a lot within that time frame that'll be beneficial to the rental, as opposed to starting at 20% and then I have to start today because I have to make that money back immediately, and it doesn't give me time to learn. I'm learning on the job at that point. So I want to give myself a little bit of time to adjust and time to figure things out. So that's why I decided to make the move that I made. Now the hope is, after a year, I'm able to start renting this property out. Hopefully it's successful. And if that's the case and it is successful, then I could take that income and now take the knowledge that I've gained at the same time, especially if things take off here on YouTube, then that's something else that I can show you guys on how to actually start from the ground up, from vacant land, the whole process, and I could actually document that and make good content out of it. So that'll allow me to do that, and hopefully then I can build the property that I want. Only time will tell how things are going to go, how things are going to end up, but that's where we're at so far. So I figured I'd share that with you guys, and now I'm going to break down what I actually spent on the property. What is this house costing me? All said and done, the new tiny house costs $512,464. Now that seems like an astronomical number for a 391 square foot, 0 bedroom, 1 bath house. And that's because it is. It really is. That is a extreme number. And to be totally honest with you, that's not what I'm paying up front. But if you calculate, this is the math that a lot of people don't do. Over the course of the loan, if I let this loan completely mature, at the end of the loan, I will have paid off $512,000, $512,464 to be exact. And that's principal and interest, not counting all the insurances and everything else that goes into owning the home. That's more than double what I'm actually paying. And if you want to know what I'm actually paying right now, or what I purchased the house or got a loan for, that is $220,964. So that's the amount that I got a loan for. But interest on this loan, if you make all of your payments on time every time, and you make just the full payment, you're going to pay more than double what you're taking out the loan for. So the bank is making a pretty decent amount of money. Granted, it's over the period of 30 years, which is a very long time, but banks play the long game. So you should too. So if you can turn something into an investment and figure out a way to make it work for you, do it. And that's what I'm doing here. So once again, it's up to you guys to decide for yourself if that's something that you would want to do, if that's something that works for your scenario, if you think I'm making a great decision or not, if you want to keep watching or not. But we're going to get into all of the projects that will hopefully make this a worthwhile investment. And before we do that, next, I want to take you guys on a little bit of a field trip and show you a few properties in my price range that I could have chosen, but I decided to go with what I went with. I'll give you that. I'll give you price breakdowns, give you something to compare to see the housing market in California currently, specifically in the desert, not a single family housing market or, any of that. If that's what you're in the market for, this is specifically tiny homes, a little bit of investment property type of thing, or unless you just want to downgrade and save some money, or you just want to embrace tiny living or living out in the desert. That's what I'm going to give you a few comparisons so that you can take that information and do what you will. But let's go check out a few properties that I could have chosen. So this house is currently for sale for $215,000. And this is in my price range. This is in my price range. This property behind me is currently for sale, and it's kind of in my price range. A little bit. Kind of. Maybe not really. But it also comes with this. Casita, main house. Kind of in my price range. Now this house is for sale, and not only is it in my price range, it is the exact same house that I just purchased. It's the exact same floor plan. It's the exact same footprint. It's the exact same builder, built around the exact same times. There you go. So what you'll notice is this is the exact same house that I have. Not only is this the same house with the same footprint, why can't I say that? Not only is this the same house with the exact same footprint and floor plan and size and everything because it was built by the same person, not only is this one the same, the neighbor, this one is also the same. It's not for sale, but this one is the exact same house as the one I have. It's the same. It's not the same, but it technically is the same, even though it's not the same, but it is. Once again, this, the same house, but not really, but kind of, but same footprint. Why can't I say that word? Same footprint, same floor plan, different location, same house. Also, Airbnb. kind of sensing a theme here, right? Yeah, same house. Yep. Yes, believe it or not, this is another one. Exact same design, exact same floor plan, exact same footprint. Yes, this is, I don't even know which number at this point. So something that I also decided to wait to share with you guys is not only are there other properties exactly like mine, houses that have the exact same look, floor plan, and footprint as mine, there is also this one, which is actually right behind mine. So I do have a lot of competition very close. Now we're going to look at a few of these properties. Let's see what we have. Okay, so in this first property, I won't show the address of any of these properties just for privacy's sake, but we're going to look at the first one, and I don't know if I should tell the city. This was in Victorville. It's in the description. You can see a little bit of the details. I'll show you more of the details here. We're going to get into the pictures in a second. This one I really like. To be honest, this isn't just a normal house. This is actually a church, believe it or not. You'll see once we get into the pictures, but this is actually a church. And I have a soft spot in my heart for church properties. I think the open floor plan of a church would make a really cool STR or short-term rental. So I really like it. Like all of the wood detailing here, I really enjoy. What is like the sanctuary part, everything is all wood. This is like something you find in a mountain cabin property. And like the ceilings are amazing, even the wood on the walls. If you do the right decor around this type of property, I really like the architecture here. It leaves a lot. Oh my God, this looks like a sauna. This particular room looks exactly like a sauna. Then you got the double bathroom, the men's and women's restrooms. There's a lot that you could do with these bathrooms, with the whole place in general. Everything has the wood cladding. Like I really like this property a lot. Actually, I'm kind of wishing I had a little bit extra money. I would buy this like right now as an extra investment. As far as the area goes for short-term rentals, this isn't the type of area that people are gonna flock to for short-term rentals. So this is not really the greatest idea. Um, in the future, who knows? This could be something really cool, but I really like it. So this is one of the comps for that reason. Um, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I actually really like this one. It started out as this was going to be one of the ones on the bottom of the list, but to be honest, I really like the way this looks. So we're going to move on to the next one. There's actually a decent price on it for the area, the prices. We're going to go to the next one. This one is more rural. This is on the main road. This property, very small. I am not really a fan of short ceilings, and that's what this is. So for me, I would have to raise the ceiling on these houses, which is going to be a lot of construction. That's going to be a lot of money spent. But I think having that extra ceiling height, no matter how small the actual house is, I think is worth it. Like you got some beams going on, but having a beam when your ceiling is like 8 feet, feels like 7 feet, is not that great as well. System, you can see a casita, Johnson Valley area. You can see some potential, but really that's what's going to be on the bottom of the list, and it's at the higher end of the price point, the price range. So that's something that I'm not really a fan of. The price is very high at 330. That's why this thing has been on the market for a while. and I think it may be on the market. I get it. They're trying to price the value of having two homes, but they're two very small, mediocre, not great homes. If this was in the middle of a big city, like you can get away with this property in LA. In the condition that it is, you can get $1 million for this in LA all day long. In the middle of a big city, even with the short ceilings, whatever, yeah, all day long, you're getting this for like $1 million in a big city. But and you could even short term rental it in a big city all day long with the casita. It's an investment at that point. But out in the desert where there's a lot of other options, you start getting into the threes. It does open you up. I mean, prices are going up, so if you really want a family property, you're going to be in the fives, fours and fives and sixes and up. But it's just, I think it's not priced right for the area. So this one I would pass on for those reasons, all of those reasons. Well, let's go to the last one. Last but not least. Okay, and this one is the house that's the exact same plan as the one I bought. This popped up and I found out it's actually built by the exact same person. So fun fact on that, it is really cool. The only difference in this property is it's 5 acres instead of the 1 acre that mine is on. The fun fact about that, you can build more tiny houses on this particular property as long as the zoning allows for it. I know a lot of different land is going to have different zoning rules, so you have to look at that. I know where mine is, you only get one tiny house per acre, unfortunately, so that is going to take away from what you're able to do. But I would try and see if I could build more on this property. It is a good thing this is obviously selling for more than I purchased mine for, which is the reason that I would have chose mine. It's the exact same house, just different colors. Here you can look at the inside, same layout, everything. Floors are nice, clean. I mean, same AC unit. I mean, it's the same everything. The cabinet coverings are different, but still the same style cabinets, the same appliances, the same countertops. The flooring is different, but everything else is laid out pretty much the same. The shower liner in here is a different one. Other than that, everything else is laid out the same. I actually was able to speak to this guy, so hopefully some things will be coming soon. I'll just leave it at that. But love this design. That's why I chose it. I really enjoy it. I really love being at the house that I just purchased. So I'm totally happy with it. The views are amazing. It feels modern and new. And even though it's small, those high ceilings make it feel large. I love it. So if I hadn't bought mine, this would be at the top of my list, to be honest. I'm a fan of the red, and the red and black is a bold statement. I love red. Um, I love red, so I probably would have chosen it. Luckily, I got mine for a better price, which if this does sell is really great because that raises the value of mine, to be honest. The land difference, accounting for the land difference, this still would raise the value of mine, which is already a little bit more than what I paid. I already have some built-in equity, but this does help. So hopefully this sells. Hopefully it sells fast. That would be great and amazing. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it and then let you guys know how it goes if you even care about it. But hopefully it sells. So in closing, it's gonna be really challenging to build an Airbnb out of this tiny house with all of the other tiny houses that are currently operating as Airbnbs and possibly not being very successful. That I'm not sure. I know of out of all of the ones that I filmed, one, my direct neighbor, that house was sold recently. There's the one that I just showed you that's for sale, and then also mine. So that shows that maybe there's not so much of a market in the area for Airbnb. Maybe it's just something with the host. I don't know. That wasn't a question that I really wanted to ask the builder, but it is something that I'm curious about. And it makes it that much more difficult with what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm hoping that I'm able to make something that rises above the other STRs or Airbnbs, and that is something that people will want to come to and enjoy. So that's my task, that's my goal. And when we get into these projects, I have that in the back of my mind that I have to make this thing perform. It has to be something that beats out the competition and is something that people are going to want to come to because there is so much competition and there's possibly not the best area for what I'm trying to do. With all of that said, yes, it's tough. It's going to be tough. It's a challenge. It's very hot in here. I'm sweating, but I'm going to do my best. Blood, sweat, and tears into this property to hopefully make it a success. And if not, 500 and a lot of thousands of dollars are going to have to come out of my pocket for this tiny house. I don't really want to think about that much longer. Thanks for watching. Next week is all about projects. Peace.